Alrighty, Falcons, Vikings, Sunday Night Football. We're breaking into the tape, kind of examining how the players played, anything interesting schematically that happened. Really, this was kind of just an ass kicking up front by the entire defensive line. I thought the secondary also played pretty well. Linebackers had a pretty good game. Everybody defensively had a good game, though also the Vikings, obviously their offensive line didn't exactly do a whole lot to help anybody on their side, but, you still got to take advantage of it, right? And I think that's what the Falcons did. So, on this first one here, Vikings are trying to run outside zone, and I really want to focus on the play of Leonard Floyd and Onyemata because I really think they make the biggest impact here. Onyemata's going to end up one-on-one, and they're trying to get this double team onto Floyd and then kind of get outside. You're also going to see Bowman do a good job filling in here and setting that edge. And then Divine Diablo, who, I'm not going to pretend I was super, super high on him coming into Atlanta. Anybody can watch my previous video on him when we signed him. I thought he would struggle more with his run fits. He's just all over this, man. I mean, I'm just going to press play and we're going to watch it. So right here, he gets in front of this center type. Here's that double team on Leonard Floyd, right? But you know what's important? He stops the edge, and then we're also going to see Billy Bowman, both these players here, forcing the cutback inside. Onyemata winning inside, right? And then you're going to see Divine Diablo come up here and make one hell of a play to kind of start us off defensively, get that tackle. But really, it started out there on the edge with Leonard Floyd and Billy Bowman. All right, next thing we get the Falcons playing cover one man, and I really want to focus on Billy Bowman and how they kind of take advantage of him twice with this motion and him not necessarily having the proper leverage. The Vikings aren't able to make the play because we're sending 5, so it's a quick flush out of the pocket for JJ. He tries to make a move in space against Jesse Bates. No chance. We get the third down stop, and then they go for it on fourth, and they fail to convert. So it's a great defensive sequence by us. But I really want to focus on is Bowman. And, they take advantage of him later on with kind of a similar concept. So up here, we're sending 5, but I want to focus a little bit more on the coverage just to talk about that. So they are motioning with this player, getting him vertical, and Bowman is responsible for him. You also have one-on-one right here. And then for the tight end type, he's going to come up here, chip, and then he's going to release the flat, and you're going to see Divine Diablo follow. And then we have kind of this one-on-one coverage. And then we have Bates here is responsible for the running back in the backfield. So Bates is for the running back, and he's also kind of spying the quarterback here. And then we get this one deep safety middle of the field. So again, cover one man coverage across the board with a single high safety. So what happens here that I want to point out is they're motioning. They get Billy Bowman here out in space, and he is kind of clamping down on this horizontally, right, where he's trying to play maybe a flat route, or not a flat, but like a speed out, something like that. And they are just able to run right by him. There's no help here for him in terms of the safety. He has no safety help. This is cover one man, right? So he's burnt here. Luckily, we get some coverage from Leonard Floyd, right? And when you get coverage from Leonard Floyd, you force JJ out of the pocket. He's not able to see this. He's not able to throw this. And Jesse Bates, again, kind of taking away the running back here. And, then he gets out here to Jesse Bates. At this point, McCarthy's past the line of scrimmage. He can't make this pass. Jesse Bates coming down on him. We get an awesome tackle. But as far as the Billy Bowman thing, I just wanted to mention it because you'll see later on he gets got on kind of this out route. And then obviously he has his fantastic pick. And, the previous play, he had a good play in run defense. So I'm not trying to pick on him. I just want to mention, the film more than the play, right? Like he played well in terms of results on the field. But there were a couple instances on film I think he could have got taken advantage of a little bit. But overall, I thought he had a phenomenal night. All right, next one here, I want to focus on Arnold Ebiketie and Billy Bowman. The Falcons moved Caden Ellis down to the line as the Vikings are in a very run-heavy look. And you really just see Arnold Ebiketie and Billy Bowman make a great job happen here at tight end against the Vikings' 2 tight ends. And you also see Onyemata do a really good job with the tackle here. So Onyemata with his one-on-one blocks can get a little bit of penetration. You're also going to see Arnold Ebiketie here, one-on-one with this tight end, and Billy Bowman basically comes up one-on-one with this tight end. And Billy Bowman, in particular, does a really good job getting inside, all right? Tight end wants to kind of watch for Ebiketie, but then he comes off to go get Billy Bowman, make him miss in space. You're a smaller guy, right? You don't want to block this guy. You want to make him miss. And then AK here does a just fantastic job disengaging. I mean, let's just watch this. So one arm extension, get him off you, get in space, get him down. Just fantastic from Arnold Ebiketie at edge. And, that's something that, I expect to keep seeing this year. So, really nice rep from both of them. Our next one here, we see James Pierce and Rook come together on a stunt to get a sack on J.J. McCarthy. Great job taking advantage of a poor Minnesota offensive line. They had struggles all night, but you still got to take advantage of it. And then coverage-wise, nothing crazy here. We're going to see man coverage, man coverage, man coverage, and then man here as well. You have Divine Diablo kind of coming up here as this inside help player, and then he ends up being kind of spying JJ, and you have a deep safety playing back here. So, right off the rip here, you can see nothing obviously open. We have tight coverage all across the field. JJ, nowhere to go. James Pierce in his face, gets the sack. I thought this was a half sack to James Pierce, which really I think it just should be a full sack. But you can see the game up here. So, Rook coming up, James Pierce behind him, and Vikings just had no chance passing this off right here. Guard did not get enough depth to handle this. James Pierce does a great job converting, gets that arm in there, gets JJ wrapped up, does not miss. Again, Leonard Floyd gets half a sack here, but really this was all Rook, and it was all James Pierce. All right, next one here, we're going to get a fantastic play by Brandon Dorlus, and David Onyemata ends up looking incredible thanks to it. But really, Brandon Dorlus is the one who makes this thing roll. Also, Arnold Ebiketie does a fantastic job. So, the Vikings are trying to do a double team here on Onyemata, and then get up to the second level for the linebacker. They're also trying to one-on-one block, obviously, Dorlus. Dorlus is going to make this inside move, and when he makes this inside move, he's going to jam up this kind of reach block they're trying to get in this pass-off. And since he does that, it leaves Onyemata just completely unblocked. So right here, swim move, sends this guy to the ground. Insane. This reach block they're trying to get is now ruined. Onyemata's unblocked, and then you also have Arnold Ebiketie just dominating his one-on-one block with the tight end. Again, twice. Let's watch it again. Let's watch Onyemata. Right here. Gets that pushback. No shot. Don't block me with the tight end. I'm going to blow up every play you try. It's a great job from Arnold Ebiketie, and it's a great job from Onyemata and Brandon Dorlus. All right, once again, Falcons hemming it up with cover one man. More man than I'm used to seeing them play, but certainly works out for them for most of the night. But right here, Billy Bowman gets kind of pick routed, but also this is just an example of, earlier he got burnt by the deep speed, so this time he's trying to respect that more, and ends up kind of giving away this underneath leverage. So right here, he's in space here. He knows that this player has a move on him if he takes it vertical, so he's trying to keep space right there. Already behind, this gives easy access for this deep out, and, that's just, obviously, JJ does a good job getting this throw off. Accurate. I say accurate as he jumps fucking 3 feet in the air. Not that accurate, but either way, it's a great catch. Billy Bowman just once again kind of taking advantage of it in coverage a little bit. Again, we're going to get to some positive Billy Bowman plays. We've already seen positive Billy Bowman plays in the run game. We're going to get to more positive ones. Just, hey, he's a rookie. I'm trying to essentially show that as high as the highs were, there were some lows. We just, were able to make out with a pretty overall good outing from him. All right, next one here, we get the Falcons with what I would call a box call. That's 4 defensive players over 3 receivers. That's how I would diagnose it. Certainly it could be some variant of quarters, but I would probably say it's box. And we'll talk about the coverage rules real fast before we break into Diablo's play here. So generally speaking with box, you should be able to look at it very easily and see a box of players. So 4 players, and there's going to be 3 receiver types. General rules for this. This outside corner is responsible for the first outside vertical. So he'd be responsible for whoever comes outside and up. Safety, right here. He's responsible for whoever comes inside and up. This nickelback, right? He's responsible for whoever comes up. Stays low and outside. So he would take this, and then you would have the linebacker type right here is responsible for whoever is low and inside, which is what we see happen. So obviously this could be some sort of quarters variance. They even cover 6 really, but I would say this is just box. We got 4 over 3. It kind of plays out that way where you see, hey, I have the deep zone, so whoever comes up, I'm going to be responsible for them. The safety's getting depth, so in case this player went vertical, you could pass it off. But what happens here is we kind of get underneath throws. So you'll see Billy Bowman here coming up to play the underneath flat, and Divine Diablo knows, hey, my responsibility right here, I don't have to worry about if this player goes deep because I have my safety help. My responsibility is to take care of him inside, which is exactly what he does. Comes up here, Again, if he's more aggressive, I think he honestly maybe picks this. But as it stands, he gets in there. Hawkinson isn't able to haul it in. Just Divine Diablo knocks it out. And we'll show the other angle again just to get that flex over by Divine Diablo. So again, he knows what he's doing. I also think the reason I think this is boxed is you can see he's not manned up. He's looking at JJ, and that's why he's able to try to come in here and make a play on this. Also, let's just watch that flex. Slow motion. Get up on there, Diablo. Fantastic game by him. Jalen Walker, so nice. We're going to watch it twice. Oh, man, I love these rookies. I'm probably a little bit higher on James Pierce than I am Jalen Walker. But obviously, you know, this isn't going to be much tape. The only thing I'm going to highlight is this is Jalen Walker. This is the tackle whose ass he's about to beat. Let's watch it together. It's going to be fantastic. So right here, double, chop, get outside of here, win with speed. Let's get JJ, sack him in the red zone, end this drive. Jalen Walker, good old Georgia boy, give him that walk. I love it. All right, next thing we're going to see the Falcons secondary completely clamp up the Minnesota receivers here. Just really good job in this cover one kind of robber look with that linebacker, Divine Diablo playing middle of the field, and then you have the deep safety with man coverage kind of across the board. Caden Ellis out here on the running back does a good job. You just get, you know, really good coverage across the board. I mean, you get really good coverage across the board. It's quarterback panics, and when quarterbacks panic, your edge rushers are able to get sacks as they look to scramble. So, again, man coverage, man coverage, man coverage, man, and then Caden Ellis here is responsible for this running back. We have our one deep safety, and then Divine Diablo, middle of the field, kind of roaming around, playing that rat role, whatever you want to call it. But defensively, the secondary just holds up really well. We'll play it back here from the beginning. And again, just clamped up across the field. Billy Bowman good. Caden Ellis. JJ looks to scramble, and we get a 2 for here on the sack. It's a great job by the defense. Again, defensive line's been helping out the secondary all night, so it's nice to see the secondary help them out. I mean, obviously, when you pitch a defensive performance like this, everybody's playing well, but especially right here. All right, right here, we're going to see an awesome interception by Billy Bowman. I really want to talk about this in terms of packaging plays. We saw a similar play with the Vikings where they motioned their player, got one-on-one with Billy Bowman outside, and they were able to kind of beat him deep, though JJ wasn't able to make the play because he had to scramble, and that's where we had that Jesse Bates tackle. But right here, you know, they're trying to kind of do similar, not the same exact concept, right? But it is motion against Billy Bowman. They get that man coverage indicator, and they decide they want to take advantage of Billy Bowman in coverage. Right here, this wide receiver is trying to sell deep because earlier Billy Bowman got beat deep. So you try to sell deep, and you're going to come back and get this catch. But Billy Bowman does a fantastic job. Look at him lower those hips, decelerate back, look for the ball, jump the route, make an interception. That is just a fantastic job. Again, if I had to guess, the Vikings coaching staff noticed that when they were running these motions, they noticed Billy Bowman get beat on that deep route. And they decided, hey, we're going to try to take advantage of him. And they weren't able to. Right here, interception. Let's watch it again from the end zone angle. So again, we're kind of bringing a little bit of pressure, kind of delayed blitz with Caden Ellis. He sees the running back release. He's like, okay, I'm responsible for him. I got to get outside. JJ trying to go deep, trying to hit Billy Bowman's man, and Billy Bowman jumps the route, makes an awesome interception. Fantastic job by the rookie. All right, we're going to talk about two things on this play. First of all, you're going to see the Falcons playing what looks like to me to be some variant of quarters with A.J. Terrell kind of locking onto his matchup. We're also able to get a sack on J.J. McCarthy, and this is mostly thanks to Leonard Floyd and Brandon Dorlus coming together. Oh my goodness, Leonard Floyd had one hell of a rush. But anyways, we'll mostly talk about A.J. and losing him and what that means. So, you know, what they're doing right here is they're locking this matchup. They're saying no matter what, we want A.J. Terrell one-on-one with this player, and then the rest of our guys will be playing, you know, kind of this quarters look, and we'll have, Caden Ellis responsible for this flat, nickel player responsible for the other flat, and then we have our middle field player. You know, we're confident in this look. We like this look, right? And that's the advantage of having an ace corner like A.J. Terrell, and every team needs that number one corner to match up like this. It's very unfortunate he goes down here. It'll affect us long-term for sure. I trust them to try to mitigate it in certain ways. Probably, not play as much press coverage because I don't know if they trust anybody else on the roster to do that. So yeah, we'll see where they go from there. That said, let's take a minute to admire Leonard Floyd coming in here, shooting this gap, forcing JJ to go to his right where Brandon Dorlus will make the play late. Just fantastic job. Throwing 74 back, bench pressing him into the dirt. And then we're forcing JJ. He's scared. He's going to get out of here. Brandon Dorlus, peel off, get the sack. Great job by the young guys. as far as AJ goes, certainly hope he's okay long term. Our next one, we're going to get D. Alford holding up in coverage deep down the field, doing a fantastic job. JJ kind of had all day in the pocket to throw, though you see a little bit of pressure from Onyemata, but realistically, any quarterback's taking that pocket. But let's talk about it. D. Alford, good coverage here. This to me just looks like, cover one man. Certainly could be, some zone match rules, but effectively it plays out like, cover one man. And D. Alford here, often maligned D. Alford. I personally think he's a little bit scapegoated sometimes. He's going to get one-on-one coverage here. Just does a really good job staying in the hip pocket. We won't break this down a ton. At this point, we've all seen kind of the man coverage stuff going on. But I just want to point out D. Alford does a really good job here, staying in position. Just no shot here whatsoever to make a play on that ball. And up front, it looked like Onyemata had a late win. I guess an early win, beating that double team, right? And then we get the late pressure by, who was that? Number 96. So, great job by him. Moving forward, hopefully the pass rush stays up to the task. Next one here, we're going to talk about similar concepts we talked about earlier. The Falcons are going to display pressure, bail late, kind of take away the underneath window, and they also have this, their backside safety playing that poach technique, taking away the deep crosser, and, one-on-one, trusting my boy D. Alford. Let's give him some respect, man. AJ Terrell gets injured. What do? We are once again locking a matchup in response to the trips formation. D. Alford, one-on-one, holding up, safety, hunting any deep crossers, which is what we're going to see here, right? So again, poach or tricks technique against these three wide receiver stacks. The backside safety is essentially playing any deep crossers because you want to try to avoid runaways against man coverage and also just have your safety an opportunity to make a play. This outside corner is responsible for any outside verticals, and then you're going to have this player kind of playing the flat. And then he would be responsible for any inside verticals, so if they went something like this, you would see him carry as well. But they don't do that, so he passes it off. He sees kind of the slow move right here. All right, let me pass this off. Let me get in the jumping lane for this Hawkinson route if he breaks it more inside. But instead, you'll see him settle into his position, and then Billy Bates is not Billy Bates. He's been playing like fucking Jesse Bates. Billy Bowman is able to come over here and get a nice interception, and that's a fantastic job by him. So again, crosser, JJ's looking right at it, but guess what? We got the safety coming down, so he's not going to throw it. So instead, reset. Let's throw to Hawkinson. Billy Bowman in position, make a play. Unfortunately, not able to come with the interception, but he certainly had a fantastic play right there. Next one here, David Onyemata splitting the double team. I think he had a bit of a weaker week one, but he came back with a vengeance today, had a much better game. Let's talk about it. So right here, 2-on-1 with Onyemata. He's going to get between them, and he's going to force this running back to the right. Now, one could certainly argue he could maybe go to the left. I also want to point out Divine Diablo coming up here, kind of filling his run fit. And right here, David Onyemata splits the double team, so he's in the right way right here. Running back certainly could cut to the left, which is probably what he's going to be telling himself in film room, but live, obviously, he cuts to the right. And Divine Diablo has already filled this gap. So we're able to force him down the line horizontally. Divine Diablo does a good job getting in front of his blocker there. Again, force him horizontal. 96 comes off, makes a tackle for no gain. It's a good play across the board, but first and foremost with David Onyemata. All right, next one here, including this one just because it's kind of funny. Divine Diablo sends the center tripping. Doesn't really do a whole lot, kind of just fakes the stiff arm, I guess, because he doesn't actually make contact with him. I mean, watch the center here. He just falls. So obviously not super replicable. I'm putting it in because it's funny, and I hope everybody else enjoys. All right, once again, talking about the up and down play of Billy Bowman. Again, had a fantastic interception, has had a couple really nice run fits. Another nice pass breakup, another almost intercepted at that when he had that pass breakup. But right here, we see the same kind of vertical issues that we've seen a couple times from him. He certainly seems to be better coming downhill than he is handling vertical. So I'm sure, if I'm seeing this on tape and we're all seeing this on tape together, I guarantee, Carolina's seeing this. So we'll have to be on top of that heading into next week. So again, just so everybody's on the same page here, this is the matchup we're watching, and we're just going to see, Billy Bowman not have the speed, not have the technique to really match him outside the numbers. No safety help in sight. If this is an accurate throw, it's probably going to the house. Luckily for us, J.J. McCarthy isn't able to hit it. So when you want to send pressure like this, because, hey, everybody loves sending pressure, right? Everybody loves sending pressure. So fine, let's send pressure, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you send 6, that means you have a lot of man coverage down the field. When you have a lot of man coverage down the field, you got to hold up, and we'll be relying on Billy Bowman to do that moving forward. Again, rookie playing time, just starting. Good, offensive weapons on the Vikings. I'm not trying to hold it against him, but while we've had awesome plays like the pass breakup that should have been an interception, the actual interception, the run fits, there's also been a couple vertical plays where we're going to have him be better moving forward. All right, next one here, focusing more on Leonard Floyd and Brandon Dorlus once again with the stunt play, making an awesome pressure on J.J. McCarthy, forcing the throwaway. Technique-wise, to me this looks to be cover 3 robber, safety coming back to play this deep zone, and then you're going to see your safety over the top. And when you have this cover 3 technique, the nickel is typically responsible for any inside verticals. So that's what appears to be the coverage to me. But up front is really where I'm trying to focus on, because obviously Leonard Floyd and Brandon Dorlus just do one hell of a job on this stunt. Brandon Dorlus has really just, had a fantastic game. So he's coming up here, taking this hard step to the right, and you're going to see Leonard Floyd coming inside. Kind of similar move they did earlier in the game. Right here, I think Brandon Dorlus does a fantastic job selling it. They do a better job passing it off here, but not quite good enough. J.J. McCarthy feeling that pressure, tries to get rid of it, skunks it in the dirt, and it's a great play by the defense. All right, next one here we get the Falcons playing some cover 6, and you're going to see J.J. kind of get out in space, make a nice throw. It's a good job by J.J. on a night he didn't have a ton of great throws, so, we'll just give it to him. Hey, sometimes you get got. But defensively, I just want to highlight, the cover 6. We've seen a lot of cover 1, robber. We've seen, some cover 3. We've seen some quarters, or at least, a variant of quarters earlier in the game. So when we talk about cover 6, the biggest thing to remember is this safety. So when I say cover 6, it's cover 4 and cover 2. So on one side of the field, you're going to have traditional quarters technique, and then to make it, a little bit more easier to visualize, let's just cut the field in half, right? Field in half, right? So these are your kind of quarter side. So he's responsible for this vertical of the field. He's responsible for this vertical of the field. And then on this side, you'll see the difference here, right? This safety is kind of between those two markers, right? If this guy's outside the numbers, this guy's closer to the seam, this safety is kind of in between them both. So that's an indicator of cover 2. So he's responsible for all of this field, right? And then this cornerback here is responsible for the flat. He's going to carry vertically and then let off, and he's coming down on anything that's there. So we'll watch it here. You can see D. Alford lets go. We have that over-the-top safety help. On this side, again, you can very clearly see the vertical help, right? He's responsible for this vertical. He's responsible for this vertical. On this side, the safety's here for this vertical. So again, cover 6. Break the field in half. One side cover 2, one side quarters. And then as far as the actual play goes, you'll see J.J. McCarthy just get out of the pocket. At this point, we're coming up to take away the scramble. We leave a space behind us. Can't quite get a hand on the ball to tip it. And it's just a good job by J.J. Give it to him. Caden Ellis here in space. Not able to get, that vertical up. How close is this? He had a shot, but, wrong hand up. So good job by J.J. But again, highlighting the coverage, right? What are we doing schematically? Cover 6. Last one here, highlighting the other rookie safety, interception. Last play of the game, really, to ice this one. J.J. McCarthy trying to throw it deep, overthrows it. Easy interception. We'll kind of just let it play in the background as we talk about the game overall. Obviously, a fantastic game for the Falcons. Defensively, it's been a while since we've seen that dominance. From the front, I thought, it's really encouraging that especially guys like Brandon Dorlus had a great job. Inside, if those defensive tackles can hold up, I have faith that, they can help out the rookies. Obviously, Brandon Dorlus, still a young player, right? But this is his second year. He's not a true rookie like James Pearson, Jalen Walker. So if we can get that interior pass rush to, kind of help our edges out, then we could have a really nice year defensively. Secondary-wise, losing A.J. Terrell really hurts. D. Alford, it was encouraging to see him kind of have a pretty good game after, some of his, poor play the past couple years. And then Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman, both had an up and down game. Xavier Watts was actually pretty clean. Billy Bowman more up and down like we talked about. So moving forward, we'll need all these guys to be on top of it. Have an easier game with Carolina. Nothing's guaranteed, right? But it's an easier game before we get into the tougher slate with Washington and the Bills. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep the film room going every week. So excited to keep breaking into it.